up you guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Shantini and you're watching the Gaviral's Diary. So this video is yet another art journaling spread video, but it has a specific topic and the topic is Rabindranath Tagore. I don't know if you know this, but I'm a Bengali, and for us Bengalis the name Rabindranath Tagore is not just of a man who was a poet, writer, painter, philosopher. The name for us is an emotion no matter in which era you were born or where you were born. Today's art journaling spread is specially dedicated to one of India's greatest minds, the man whose song has been chosen by India as their national anthem, Kobi Guru Rabindranath Thakur, as we call him in Bengali, or Rabindranath Tagore as the world know him. So without any further ado, let's begin. तो फर्स्टली मैं एक ड्राइंग पैड ले रही हूँ. मैं इसमें रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर के 2 स्केचेस या लाइन ड्राइंग्स बनाऊंगी जिससे बाद में विल स्टिक इट ऑन द जर्नल स्प्रेड. तो मैंने ना पिंटरेस्ट से इंस्पिरेशन कलेक्ट किया है. ऑल्सो प्रोटिप, पिंटरेस्ट इज वन हेक ऑफ एन यूजफुल वेबसाइट और ऐप फॉर DIYs and stuff. Rabindranath Tagore, or Robi Thakur as we call him in Bangla, is not just a poet or a writer or composer or painter. He is an emotion for Bengalis all over the world. Robi Thakur and his essence has so much impact on our lives that no matter where you are born or when you are born, he would have come into your life in one way or the other. He has shaped Bengali literature and music in a way that its impact can be seen even today as well. He blended modernism with classic so well that you can read his work today and still find resemblance. You know, a great way to make any paper look old is by painting the paper lightly with the color brown or yellow ochre or even both. Here I'm using the Camlin watercolor cakes and diluting them with 90% water and 10% colors and putting the colors randomly to give a sense of depth onto the drawing. Also, pro tip, use a kitchen towel to remove the excess water and the color shall become less pigmented. But make sure you're using a kitchen towel or a heavier napkin, otherwise the napkin will stick onto the paper and ruin everything. Rabindranath Tagore not only wrote Indian national anthem, but also Bangladesh's national anthem as well. Well, technically he didn't write them because by the time both the countries got independence, he sadly passed away. But the correct sentence to use would be, his songs were chosen by 2 nations, India and Bangladesh, as their national anthems. Jana Gana Mana as India's national anthem and Amar Sonar Bangla was chosen by Bangladesh as their national anthem. So once my colors dried down, I'm gonna use a black pen or a black marker and make the outlines pop. Then I'll use a scissor and cut both the pieces, leaving a little boundary on the edge. Then I'm using papers that I'm tearing from 2 parts of a book called Shorolipi. This book had all the notes of the songs written by Tagore. Now before you come for me, I'll just want to let you know that I know it's not the right thing to tear down pages from the book, and I'm in no way encouraging anyone to do it, but we had 2 copies of these books, so my mother gave them to me to use them on my art journaling. Now I'll do the same thing I did with the drawing sheets. I mean coloring the papers brown to make them look more antique. Now I took 2 more pages out of the same book and kept them aside. Then I opened my art journal and took out 2 pages from another old English book or novella, you can call it, only because it had perfectly vintage colored papers. Now I want to put a disclaimer out here that whatever you'll see me doing now, it's completely my personal choice. You don't have to feel pressured to buy or do any of those things. I did only because it's something I enjoy doing and it's highly therapeutic for me. So I went ahead and splurged and bought some fancy stuffs for art journaling. But you don't have to buy anything that you don't want to. You can paint all of the things that I'll be showing from now on and use normal glue or double-sided tapes and stick them to make your own art journal spread. You see, art is a very creative topic and it is up to you how you want to do it. Use fancy stuff or not using fancy stuff is up to you. And I'm not forcing you to do anything that you don't want to do. I'm making this video for you to enjoy. Did you know Tagore hated classroom schooling? He preferred being close to the nature than studying in class. He always despised orthodox form of schooling. I think this is why the young kids are taught under the shades of a Chatim tree at Vishwabharati campus in Bolpur Shantiniketan. We call it Chatim Tola. He loved roaming around the nature, and that's why as a teenager, he even accompanied his father on a tour of India. This tour brought him close to Shantiniketan, a place he later called his home. Also, during this tour, he fell in love with another city of India, Amritsar. Also, along with Amritsar, he fell in love with the Golden Temple and Sikhism. He even wrote poems and stories regarding Sikhism to make Bengalis accustomed to this religion. I think this is one of the reasons why he renounced his knighthood after the barbaric Jallianwala Bagh massacre in 1919, an incident that shook the whole country, and in my opinion, one of the main sentiments behind our forefathers' fight to give us an independent India. While I was researching on Rabindranath Tagore, I came to know a very interesting fact. The song and the poem that he is recognized by the non-Bengali folks are actually written during India's freedom fighting days, and they are politically charged. I just somehow thought he wrote them prior to those times, and later they were just brought into use to inspire the youths. The poem I'm talking about is one of my all-time favorite poem by him. It's called Chittho Jetha Bhoy Shunno, or Where the Mind is Without Fear. And the song has apparently become a staple for people outside the Bengal or Bengali community to recognize us. I know you know the song that I'm talking about. The song is যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে একলা চলো একলা চলো একলা চলো একলা চলো রে. I'm sure if you are not living under the rocks, you must have heard this song. I can't tell you how many times people have linked me or my identity as a Bengali with this song. Our journaling spreads are person specific, so I can't really explain step by step what I'm doing here. All I can say is select a theme, inspect your needs or your liking, have a vision, and try to put all of them together into the journal. All the tearings and layerings that I'm doing here, it is to give a depth and 3D effect to the spread. If you don't want it, you don't have to do. You do you. In case you want to buy art journaling supplies, I believe Amazon is the cheapest option out there. Since art journaling or art in specific is very creative and person specific, so there is absolutely no right or wrong things in art journaling. You can do it whatever way you like it. Also, once I'm done with all the layering, I would write some quotes by Tagore that I have searched from Pinterest. Growing up, my favorite story by Tagore was The Kabuliwala. Ever since I read it as a kid, this story has stuck with me so hard that it still makes me emotional for some reason. This week, I was tutoring a student of mine and explained the story to him as it's there in his syllabus. And trust me, by the end of it, I almost choked, imagining Rahmat, the Kabuliwala's emotions. I cannot exactly pinpoint why this story is very sentimental to me, but somehow this story always makes me cry. If you haven't read this story, I would suggest you give it a try. I'm sure you would find it online. If I have to suggest you anything to buy from today's video, I would suggest you go and find this story and read it. I'm sure you won't regret. But before I go, I would definitely want to recite to you my favorite poem by Kabiguru Rabindranath Tagore, Chittho Jetha Bhoy Shunno, or Where the Mind is Without Fear. But before I start, I would like to say pardon me for any mistakes, as I am in no means is a professional reciter. চিত্ত যেথা ভয় শূন্য উচ্চ যেথা শির জ্ঞান যেথা মুক্ত যেথা গৃহের প্রাচীর আপন প্রাঙ্গণ তলে দিবস সর্বরী বসুধারে রাখি নাই খণ্ড ক্ষুদ্র করি যেথা বাক্য হৃদয়ে উৎসমুখ হতে উচ্ছ্বসিয়া উঠে যেথা নির্বারিত স্রোতে দেশে দেশে দিশে দিশে কর্মধারাধায় অজস্র সহস্র বিদ্ধ চরিতার্থতায় যেথা তুচ্ছ আচারে মুরু বালু রাশি বিচারের স্রোত পথে ফেলে নাই গ্রাসী পৌরুষেরে করেনি সে শতধা নিত্য যেথা তুমি সর্বকর্ম চিন্তা আনন্দের নেতা নিজ হস্তে নির্দয়ে আঘাত করি পিতহ ভারতের সেই স্বর্গে করজাগরিত where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out of the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. With this, my spread is also complete, and this is how it has turned out. I hope you have loved the video. आप सबको ये वीडियो अच्छा लगा होगा. And if you do try this art journaling spread or any spread for that matter, do hit me on Instagram. My ID is this one and also it's linked in the description. You can click on the link and go and follow me there. And if you've liked this video, do hit the like button, comment, share and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you next week. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.